Right, to start with, let's just have a look through the window. We need to get gowned up if we want to go in here, but basically this is our dust-free room. It's not a clean room per se, but it's a high-class dust-free room. And this is where we build all of the sensitive products, for example. You see everybody in there that now has got their personal safety equipment on. I'm building some products as we go through. All right, let's move into one of the main production areas. Now, as we're just about on Chinese New Year, we've got a number of staff that have already left. However, we can see what we call a typical U-line. Now, a U-line is good for a high turnover product. So in other words, what we're talking about here is we've got one product being built, so we'll do a batch of 2,000 units. It's easy then to clear the line and set the line up for the next product goes through for another batch of 1,000, 2,000, whatever the case may be. Okay, so as we look through here, we'll be able to see a bit of old school and new school, let's call it. So at the top, we've got the standard operating procedure. Okay, so this is all printed out, and this is generated by the PPMs we talked about earlier. But at some point, we will be switching over to the electronic tablet. So all of the standard operating procedures will be on the tablet format. At some point throughout 2026, we'll roll that out to everything. As you can see here, we're all preparing. And this is a pretty good example here. Lewis is one of our sort of PPMs looking after this particular build at the moment. So he has generated all of the standard operating procedures. He's here training, making sure the operator understands exactly what sort of the process is. We can see here now, this is more of a video standard operating procedure where the operator can actually understand what is going on at all times throughout the build and what she needs to, or in this case, her, what she needs to follow to get the product together. So this is another one of our larger U-shaped sort of production lines. Like I said, we're almost at Chinese New Year, so a lot of the staff have already left, but this is generally a buzzing and it's like full of sort of products going through. We've got our second smaller U-line, so we've got one over the back there, which we had a look at. This is another, like I said, this is good for high turnover products, and we've got a totally different product here. This is a product being made. It's got various different things. I can't show you exactly what it is, but you can see this going through this particular line. So we'll start in one operation, go all the way through to the finished line at the end. Okay, so let's go and have a look at this product over here. So what we've got here, this is on the end of the larger U section, and this is an automated wrapping machine. So when you get your new product, as it were, it's got the cellophane or wrap around it. So this machine does that. So you've got automated in there, everything will be cut. It's then sealed, it'll go through the oven to shrink it. So basically that shrink wrap, and it'll come out. And once it's done there, it will get labeled up, scanned, put in boxes, ready for shipping. Here we've got a very small line. This is primarily for short or smaller products that have got minimal steps in the production. Right, let's head through to our second production line here on the second floor. We're just moving through one of the warehouse areas. We've got inventory being sort of stocked for various different locations as we move through. So here we've got a very, very similar setup where we've got the straight lines. Now, generally, again, not so many workers around at the moment, but the production here will go from stage to stage to stage. This is where the operating procedures will be. So the operators will go through, pass the product down. Now, as being passed down, in this particular product here, for example, so operator 1 will do their work, they'll pass it on. Operator 2 will then check the previous person's work. So we've got a buddy check, so everything from a quality point of view, so that works. Okay, so that's good. Just want to show this, for example. This is one of our sort of test rigs, and this is for testing a PCB. So basically the PCB will be placed on there. We've got the toggle clamp that will hold it in place. Once that's plugged in, we've got the output comes into either a display on the actual product itself, or that'll be plugged into a PC or a laptop, where we can actually either check whether each of the components are correct and is functioning, the PCB is functioning, or we're able to flash sort of software and firmware onto the actual PCB itself. So that is all made in-house, designed and made in-house. That was electronics. This is more of a mechanical test rig, and again, fully automated. So once it's all plugged in, this is testing for functionality. And again, each of these green lights will show if it's green, it's okay. If it doesn't show up, then it's obviously a fail. We've got a problem with that particular component or part. This is another one of our larger U-shaped sections, where we've got a number of sort of products running down here at the moment. So at the moment, we've got some PCBs being manufactured. Looks like we've got a chip that's being placed into, and when I say a chip, this is a little like sort of cell phone SIM card. See a number of things. You'll notice these guys are wearing the blue strap. Okay, so the blue strap is an ESD, or electrostatic discharge protection. Now, because they're working with sort of PCBs, there is a chance that as you're walking around, you're building up some static, and what you don't want to be doing is discharging onto a critical component and you damage the PCB. So each one of these guys working on a PCB will have one of these blue straps on. If you look carefully, they will also have the blue slippers on, and again, for the same reason.